Les Cahirlock. And I rise today to pay tribute to two outstanding and courageous journalists, Paul Kimmage and David Walsh, who deserve all our thanks and full credit for the courage and conviction and perseverance they showed over a decade of exposing the outrageous cheating and drug abuse and doping that occurred in the Tour de France. They have now been vindicated, although Kimmage stands exposed to being sued, which I think is a scandal in itself. The situation is that, unfortunately, Lance Armstrong, who would have been a hero and an inspiration to us all and a role model that we had hoped we could look up to, presided over a decade of disgrace and drug-taking in the Tour de France. It seems that throughout that decade there was more drugs available on the Tour de France than there was in Woodstock in 1969. I do indeed, and it pertains to the whole question of media control and ownership, because without a strong, independent and robust media, these kind of situations would never be challenged and never exposed. We had a documentary on RT last night, indeed, dealing with that very question: what's for the future of TV? Are we now only going to have stories and programmes made based on who can sponsor them or who can pay for them? Is it that he who pays the piper calls the tune? And that would be a very dangerous situation indeed. In fact, it's not what's printed that concerns me. It's what's not printed. It's what's prevented from getting into print that should concern us all. And we have been now promised, we even see this week the mighty BBC itself brought into disrepute, again, not by what it published, but what it failed to publish in relation to the Jimmy Savile saga. And Las Cahirlock, what I'm asking the leader is, can she inform the House today at what stage are we going to see the legislation brought forward? We've been talking about it now for the past 2 years. The Minister for Communications, Pat Rabbitte, has indicated over and over again that the responsibility for media ownership and control will be transferred from the Department of Enterprise into his department, and that the question of media diversity and control and ownership will be addressed in that legislation. And I'd like to know at what stage can we expect to see that legislation. Thanks very much, Las Cahirlock.